Wyatt from PSP. Today, I'm going to be talking about the lunge. What exactly is the lunge? The lunge is a lower body unilateral exercise that focuses on developing primarily the quads and the glutes, as well as the hamstrings to a lesser degree. Because it's a unilateral exercise, that means the weight is unevenly distributed, more weight and load on one leg compared to the other. It requires greater balance, coordination, and stability compared to a bilateral exercise, where weight is evenly distributed through both legs, for example, the squat. This makes it a great exercise for developing task-specific strength, as well as reducing muscular and strength imbalances between different limbs. And that's very important for helping reduce risk of injury. There are many variations of lunges that you can do depending on your strengths, weaknesses, preferences, and goals. Today, we're going to go over some of those variations we can do. The reverse lunge allows constant tension on the working leg, which is beneficial for building muscle and strength. To perform, stand with feet hip-width apart, take a breath in, and step back with one leg, lowering till the back knee touches the ground. Stand up by driving the front leg into the ground until fully upright. The forward lunge requires more stability by stepping forward into the weighted leg. Beginning the same as the reverse lunge with feet hip-width apart, step forwards, stabilize, and lower until the back leg touches the ground, and drive backwards back to standing. The walking lunge incorporates locomotion, which increases the metabolic demand of this exercise. Begin the same as the forward lunge, step forwards till the rear knee touches the ground. Stand up, bring the rear foot forwards, then switch legs. Continue alternating legs for reps or distance. The split squat is the same movement as a lunge, but with the feet static, providing greater stability and allowing heavier loading. Set up in a staggered position with feet hip-width apart. Take a breath and brace in, lowering until the back knee touches the ground and driving back up through the front foot. The rear foot elevated split squat places a greater stability and loading demand on the working leg. Place the laces of the rear foot on a bench or object about knee height. With the front foot under the body, lower until the rear knee approaches the ground. Stand up by driving the front foot into the ground. The lateral lunge allows movement in the frontal plane, which is often neglected in training. Start with feet hip-width apart, step one foot to the side, lowering to 90 degrees. Make sure to keep both feet flat on the ground. Stand up by driving through the outer glutes, returning to standing position. Alongside exercise variations, there are also different methods of loading the exercises that can increase demands on different areas of our movement and challenge aspects such as core stability, shoulder stability, and absolute strength depending on the method. Dumbbells and kettlebells are common pieces of equipment and are very versatile. The two-hand grip at the sides is easy to set up and can be used with various loads. It has the added benefit of training grip strength as well. The one-hand grip at the sides, or suitcase grip, places a greater demand on the core as it requires you to resist flexion and rotation while working. The front rack position, most commonly performed with kettlebells, places a greater demand on the muscles of the upper back and core, and also challenges thoracic mobility by maintaining a more upright body position. An overhead position places greater demand on the upper body by challenging shoulder stability. It also places a greater demand on balance and coordination throughout the movement. You can perform this with 2 arms overhead for a greater strength stimulus, or 1 hand overhead for a greater demand on core stability. Using a safety squat bar or barbell allows greater flexibility for increasing load. Removing the need to grip a weight allows greater focus to be placed on form and technique. One of the benefits of the safety squat bar is that it allows you the option to remove your hands and use external objects for balance, which opens up possibility for training heavier. We can also manipulate torso angle to bias muscle groups. A more upright torso angle places greater emphasis on the quadriceps for knee extension, whereas a more forward torso angle places greater emphasis on the glutes for hip extension. One last variable we can adjust is range of motion. By increasing range of motion, we can place a greater stretch on the working muscle, which can induce a greater hypertrophy response.